Hi, Joanna. Thank you very much for
Hi.
joining me on my podcast.
Hi, Boyana. Thank you for having me.
Really, really delighted. We're good friends for many years, and we try to keep in touch regardless of where we are in the world. So, for me, it's a pleasure to talk to you at any time. So, this is a real treat to have to see you and to talk to you today.
Thank you, Boyana. Thank you. Same goes to you. Always lovely to see you and talk to you.
So, I have this initiative with the podcast to connect to like-minded people and explore what's how we deal with life, what challenges and what joys we have. And we had a little talk in advance, and we were saying we would like to discuss the topic of self-care. So maybe if you want to introduce yourself first, and then we can touch on that topic and how it applies to both of our lives.
Absolutely. Yes, thank you. So, my name is Joanna, and as you mentioned, we've been friends for many, many years. Um, I am 43 years of age, born and raised in Poland. I lived abroad for a number of years, about 15 years in Ireland. Then I came back home to Poland, and then I moved again to Spain, where I was for 2 years. And at the moment, I am back in Poland. I am a mother of two kids and woman and a wife. Um, and that's about it.
And your professional career as well, you've done many things.
I have, yes. I'm actually at the I don't want to say breaking point, but yeah, I have been working basically all my life. For my first child, I only took about, I think, 6 or 7 months of maternity leave, and I went back to work. And I continued working when I got pregnant again. However, during that time, it was back in 2017 with my second pregnancy. Um, for some health reasons, I took some leave, and when my second son was about, I think, just over a year, I went back to work. So um, it has been very challenging,
Yeah.
to manage both.
One foot in front of the other every day. No, I think every mother will relate to that. And that, do you think for yourself, the was it a financial need to go back to work or to continue working, or is it a need where you want to feel, you're doing work that it's, you're happy doing, or what is your reasoning when you're choosing? And that's a choice, I suppose, we make every day, um, to manage both family and work.
Yeah, I think it's a fantastic question, Boyana, and here I can just, go on and on and on answering it without giving you a, you know, crystal clear answer. Um, so I suppose when my first child was born, I didn't know what was happening really, and I had always been working before. So I was in this mindset that obviously changed throughout the years of maternity, but I back then I was in the mindset that you have a child, but you live your life as if nothing happened. You just have an additional family member. So little did I know. Um, but having said that, that was only one child, and I didn't really have to win bread because my husband was working at the time. So I think it was just a habit of always working. And possibly earning additional income to the family unit gave me some form of validation,
Yeah. Yeah.
of self-worth. As crazy as it sounds, but that was basically a part of it for sure. My husband was quite supportive back then, and the setup that we had was that my younger son Richard was minded by my next door neighbor. So and he was quite a healthy child also, so it was borderline manageable back then. But it depends, the field, the work that I do is, sometimes it can go, nice and easy and quiet for some time, and then it goes, hectic and completely unmanageable. So things happen in our lives, and basically when Richard, my older son, was 3.5, we moved back to Poland. And at that point, I didn't even think of quitting, but it started to get me really, because the pressure and just the busyness of it, made me realize that I have to stop. And this is the topic why I chose this topic, because I didn't really I didn't take this decision for myself. I was pregnant, so I was doing this for someone else. So this is how crazy I am here. I wouldn't do it for myself. No, how would I? So, but that pregnancy, that child inside of me, gave me that permission and the validation to take some rest and don't have a stressful pregnancy, for everybody's sake, especially for the child's sake. But at that point, I was at the stage that, my little boy, who's 3, I walked him to the nursery. I came back and I was working. The nursery was close by, so I went to collect him, brought him home, put him in front of the telly, and I continued working.
Yeah, that's everyone.
And I was basically, pregnant already, and I was on medication to hold on to the pregnancy. So, a few days I didn't take the shots into my tummy. I forgot to go to the toilet, and I thought that's enough, So I took leave, and I have to say I had a wonderful pregnancy. So these are the, very good memories. And then when, long story short, when we moved to Spain, there was a financial factor, actually. We as a family didn't realize how expensive life would be, because we were in Mallorca. So obviously, with the lifestyle we've chosen, um, money was a little bit short. So I started, and to tell the truth, I was at home for over a year then with my younger boy, and I wanted to work. It is a part of me in so many ways. So it's very, very, very hard to find a balance. So I was, fortunate enough that the company, where I worked before, they took me back on. And I was thrilled. Yeah, it gave me a lot of confidence again. And I'm wearing out again at the moment, So it's really a roller coaster. It's very, very, very difficult, especially for me I feel in my circumstances, the business of it is not serving right now any good to anybody. And as you said, I don't necessarily have to work for money right now. So I am right now taking a parental leave, which I am entitled to, and I will see, where I go and how I feel about all of this about 3 or 4 months time. But again, a lot of it is I'm doing this for the family, but it is very very connected, and I
Mhm.
come to understanding and to realizing this only now. And my knowledge about self-care and self-love is very extensive, but the reality uh, uh, is different. So this is why I kind of chose this topic, maybe even to listen to it again and again, and to listen to my own words. So maybe
Yeah.
I will record them for good in my brain and in my whole body and soul. So um that is where I am now. I'm supposed to move again because I'm moving from Warsaw to my family city, to my family home, to Gdynia, with two children. My husband is away at the moment. I have to transfer both boys to new facilities over there. So there is a little, there is a lot of things that I have to do. So I have that validation, and this is absolutely crazy. So even if I speak to other people, I'm saying, I'm taking a break, I'm taking leave from work, but no, not to rest. I have to do this, that, and the other. And, I realize how absurd, this sounds. And it's something definitely that I have to work on, because, being so busy and doing everything for everybody and forgetting yourself, I think it's the worst thing that one can do for themselves. And I'm guilty of that, as I believe a lot of other people, especially women, are.
Exactly. I think that's why I'm really grateful for you opening up and sharing your story and coming up on the podcast, because so many people are going to relate to that. And when we share, I think we give ourselves permission. We hear our own words, so we kind of give ourselves permission to take that message, but also other people will see our sharing, and we'll give them permission, I think, if they're ready to hear it, or if they need it, to
Of
acknowledge
course.
um,
Yeah.
that. I think a lot of us
Yeah.
are portraying an image on other people, going, but sure, they keep going, why should I take a break because they keep going? So if you share openly of your struggles, I think other people relate to that and
Yeah.
go, okay, so it's that kind of do what I do, not what I say, kind of normally with, oh,
Yeah.
you need to do it. But if you do it as an example, I think it gives other people permission.
Yeah. And obviously everybody is have a different story, and
Yeah.
in different situation. But one thing is, um again, which I have been struggling, um uh, comparison to others. If she can do this and that and that, and she's so perfect, and her children are so well behaved, and she's working and going to yoga, and she has a social life, and she's so kind, and this noise in my head is absolutely crazy. This is the actual opposite of what self-love and self-care is. It's
Yeah.
like nearly self-abuse,
Yeah.
comparing yourself to other people. And I'm aware of many things, but I catch myself of you know doing this yet again, looking at others. And um, I don't know, I can give you an example, like from my personal life, because that made me cry when my older son comes to me and he says, "Mommy, you're the best mother in the world." You know, my first reaction would be, "What? You know, what are you talking about? I'm trying, but thankfully I didn't say any of this, because what would I be teaching my son? He comes to me, he tells me what he thinks, what he sees, and I'd say, no, 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 she's better.
Yeah.
You know, this is this is so imprinted in me, and I think in many other people, but I don't want to speak for the rest, that this can impact your children and how you upbring your children. I think I experienced this also. Being compared to other kids when I was younger. Someone is always faster, prettier, smarter, better behaved. And, this is, something that I don't want, my children to have and to hear when, they're 6 or 7 and 4 or whatever,
Yeah.
15. But, these are, things that I am harming myself with. Uh, and thankfully I'm aware of that, but to truly and really um, get rid of it will require much more work.
Yeah, and I think another reason why is really important we have these conversations is how, as mothers now, we understand what how our childhood had happened and how we're impacting the future of our children with our example. So making small changes or any way we can improve right now is so important that we can give examples for our children. But in what you shared earlier, and going back to the topic of self-care and what that might look for me, for you, for anybody listening, I thought it was really important, really good example. You mentioned how when you returned back to work, that was important to you. So it kind of, from what I heard, was that nearly going back to work was a self-care because you needed that break away from the family commotions, and you go to work and you use different parts of your brain. You use you communicate with people. I know you're very um, you're very extrovert. You love talking to people and being surrounded. So that's, in that moment, that was probably self-care for you, going back to work and having that space for yourself. But yet
That is true. That is true, Boyana. Yes.
but right now it's a different situation, and working especially from home in a very different environment, continuing work was not self-care anymore, and taking a break is the self-care. So it's really interesting how in different times of our lives, it could be from morning to evening or whatever the case is going on in your life, to have that flexibility and that kind of curiosity of, is that still serving me? Does that still, at this moment, yeah, maybe an hour ago I needed to do that, or a year ago, or whatever the case is, but to have that open mind and curiosity and acknowledgement, maybe that's no longer serving me. What do I need right now for the situation that it's right happening right now, for my behavior?
Absolutely. Absolutely, Boyana. This is amazing conclusion. However, I really, really have to reach rock bottom to, come
Yeah,
to this
yeah,
conclusion.
exactly. Yeah, yeah.
So, and that's something that even kind of not stopped me, but I actually told you that, I'm not sure if I want to come on podcast because I'm not going to be, too um, maybe inspirational or too positive. But I, obviously decided against it because, I just want to be authentic, because I think this is the, biggest value of all.
Yes.
But I really, really reached rock bottom right now. It's being alone with 2 kids. Warsaw is not my city. Okay, I'm not abroad. I'm not an expat anymore at the moment. But it has its own challenges, apart from COVID. But having lived abroad for 20 years, being in your home country, it is different
Of course.
than if you had stayed. And yeah, I just don't have really the time to squeeze 8 hours from my day in front of the computer.
Yeah.
Um, and it is at the moment insanely busy 8 hours,
Yeah.
so I always laugh, there are, people working, there are people busy, there's me. Maybe the role of the victim speaks up, but, my younger son, he is a special needs child with a very irregular sleep pattern. So, it's not that I am a working mom. I'm a working mom of two kids, one with special needs who doesn't sleep, mom. So,
You're a super mom.
uh, no, that's the thing. I'm not.
We
So,
all.
but I really have to come to the point where, I really cannot do it anymore. I think sleep deprivation is, the main um, um, blocker for me, to function. And I just need sleep,
Yeah.
you know. And if we're talking about self-care, it really, got me having children, got me realizing, um, how grateful we should be for little things like, you're fulfilling your basic needs, which I haven't really had for a number of years. If you don't, yourself, who am I telling? If you don't get enough sleep, how can you function? I always, say about this, simple
Right.
Maslow
Mhm.
hierarchy pyramid. I'm on -1 or -2, really. My husband is elsewhere, like he went away for work, which I'm really grateful for, but he's in a different place, obviously,
Yeah.
without children and in a tropical country. And he called me the other day saying, you know would you like to go to Korea? And I'm like, you're definitely on a different stage of the Maslow, pyramid. I'm like, I'd like to have some sleep and, maybe a night in a hotel would do me just fine, So it's really funny, but I really come to realization how, you know uh, grateful I should be for, the little things
Yeah.
um, that yeah, I don't want to sound they have been taken away from me, but at the moment, my little boy allows me to take a shower. I remember us talking about a year ago. Oh my God, give me 2 minutes so I can shower. And I can do that now.
That,
So I'm like, yes, you know, he comes and checks on me. Okay, she's there. I'm not happy, but I'll give her another 30 seconds. So I'm really grateful for that. I think a lot of moms probably feel the same,
of course.
but it's, maybe not something so widely spoken about,
Yeah.
uh, how hard it is.
So if for you, you're saying it, you kind of have to hit rock bottom to assess the situation, or that you would rather prioritize other people's needs, and because self-care for you will mean better life for them or better quality for them, so you give yourself permission to look after yourself only so that they can have a better version of the day. It's really interesting in that. So I'm sure I relate to that, other people relate to that, and in that regards, somebody listening, what can they do? I like if I was talking to a friend earlier and I said, if one more person tells me I should take time for myself or go for a walk, I'm gonna punch them in the face, because you come and mind my children, or you come and cook the dinner or tidy the house while I go for that walk that I really need. So for me, for you, what do you think is actually we need, or advice that maybe somebody will relate to it or not?
Yeah, well, I don't want to give any advice, because as you said, it can only annoy someone, and I myself hate receiving any advice, absolutely hate it. So the only thing that I can say that helped me um somewhat, during the past few years, and I've been through a lot of challenges, is gratitude. I think I know it's a fantastic tool, and have some support. I know it is not easy, because if you want to get support, you have to be in a support group, you have to speak to someone, and perhaps you don't have time to do that.
Yeah.
um, but I was fortunate and lucky enough that I had and I have some support from outside, and I don't speak to that person every week, but I know she's there if I need her. um, and it's someone that I can trust. And it doesn't really have to be a counselor or psychologist, but uh, to have someone that would you can trust, and that would support you, even in a different continent, in a different time zone. um, it it gave me some comfort,
Mm.
and I also tried to do something for myself every day. So I would do the exercise of at the end of every day, and if I didn't have the time to do it every day, I would do it twice a week or once a week. Just write down 3 things you're grateful for during that day, and things you did for others and things you did for yourself.
Wow.
And I think it's a fantastic exercise. um, and I was great with doing things for others. I was not too bad for things I'm grateful for, because if you concentrate on the good stuff, for example, your kids are healthy, simple things, the weather is nice, like anything, there are plenty of things every day that you can be grateful for. I often got stuck at the what did I do for me? So but at least this exercise gave me food for thoughts. And it doesn't have to be when I speak about self-care with someone, a friend, and she's like, oh yeah, I'm going for a yoga retreat or a spa weekend with friends. It doesn't really have to be this.
Yeah.
you know it can be, I don't know, if someone drives their kid to school, just drive back and listen to something that you really really want to listen.
Music on
Not,
full blast for me.
if you want, yeah, it would be probably some melody from the 50s for me, even one song a day, or some moment of stillness. I know it's very difficult for a mom to accept a moment of stillness, and it's very difficult to achieve, but anything that works for you, just be honest. Like, I try to be honest as with myself as possible. And if it is to lie down, um, and close your eyes, or whatever it might be. And I know it is very very difficult, but uh, even to find a minute or 2 minutes a day with the conscience that it is something that you want to do, and you're doing it for you. um, it's a small step, but I think it's a very 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 important aspect to, to care for yourself. And you know even if you have to do it for other people, but you're not doing anybody any favors for being wrecked and tired, uh, sleep deprived. um, you're not a better mother, not a better person, and you're definitely not doing any favor to yourself.
I 100% agree. And I think what you said were really wonderful, very practical, very, tangible things that we can do. For me, even this conversation today is self-care because you're such a good friend to me. We connect, we're honest with each other, and I'm gonna come off this conversation, with a boost and with a with a lovely feeling that I've connected with you and that we had a nice conversation. So it doesn't have to be, if anything, the last time I went to a spa a couple of years ago, I was sitting there going, I should be relaxing now. This is supposed to be,
Absolutely,
that doesn't
absolutely.
mean some
Yeah,
may enjoy that, but
yeah,
it's not that image that we're sold. Is whatever,
absolutely. Yeah, whatever works for you.
yeah,
Like, some people would love, just to be in the nature. So even if you are out with the kids, just hug a tree,
yeah,
whatever, And some people just would like to be locked in a dark room and just,
yeah.
sit there drinking a bottle of Sprite,
Toilet
whatever.
break for 5 minutes on my own is self-care.
Yeah, you just close your eyes and breathe.
Yeah,
Anything, but it's just, to be honest, with myself, it takes a lot, of I don't know, I can analyze where it comes from, upbringing, culture, pressure, society, but I can blame everybody and anybody. But you know, I've been, doing, some work and self-improvement for long enough not to blame anybody else. And if I forget myself, just come back and listen, Joanna, this is not right, so yeah, that's where I am at the moment. I'm gonna take some time off from work, and while I have a very busy schedule ahead, I want to commit to giving myself at least, half an hour every day, whether it's an exercise, lying down doing nothing, or jumping up and down on trampoline. um, I really, really know I have to do it for myself and for the rest. And minding the kids, you can find a lot of joy in that also, especially when they're a little bit older. I don't want to, preach to someone who has a 3 or 4 months-old baby that doesn't sleep at all. But I actually like jumping up and down on the trampoline, so I enjoy a lot of activities. So it's just realization that, this is actually fun. It's not, killing myself to give some pleasure and fun to my boys. There are some things that I really, really do enjoy.
of course.
So
Fantastic. Thank you
yeah,
so much. I want to acknowledge you as well on how you gave me an education or a point of view about the needs of your son and how that situation is in your family. And it really, as much as you see it or you hear it in the media, it really gave me a perspective on and on his needs and on normalizing it, not making it, some monster or something story in my head, and the importance that um, we all are educated, that my children also see that and are able to connect and communicate in a manner that is pleasurable for everybody, that we all benefit from it in the community. So I really loved your video, and I hope you do more
thank you.
of that as well, because I think I would love to see more of him, and um, for me to learn, or for other people. So I hope you keep up that.
I'll think about it, and thank you very much for your kind words. It's yeah, I don't know. I really admire your work and how you're coming on the internet and on cameras. But I have to say, it takes a lot, from me
Yeah.
to do it, and then to see who is gonna say what, who is gonna watch it. So I'll have to be very, very, mindful that I don't have to do it, and I don't do it um, against my real
Yeah.
will and real that I really, really want to do it.
Yeah.
So perhaps I will, but I think, yeah, I've said a lot, and I stand by every word I said in that video. So thank you very much for watching and acknowledging this, Boyana.
No problem.
We are
Joanna,
all the same. Yeah.
thank you for this beautiful conversation. I really enjoyed it, and I hope we do more of these. We keep in touch, and we help each other as much as possible, regardless of where we are in the world.
Yeah.
Because we uplift and we connect, and the energy is good. So I wish you a great day, and we'll keep.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me. See
Thank
you
you,
soon.
Boyana.
Thank
Cheers. Bye. Bye bye.